Hi, my name is Yomi and welcome to my new YouTube channel. The purpose of this channel is for me to document my diaspora retirement adventures I'm having after being retired from the UK. I worked as a social worker, mental health worker and behavior improvement practitioner over a number of decades. And now that I've reached retirement, I decided that I need to have some adventures in my life. Well, I've had some in the past, but I need to have more, particularly as retirement is changing. The whole idea of retirement in the old days was, oh yeah, you get some money, live a few years, and then just, live out your few years and, go to the great beyond. However, retirement now has changed because most of us are living for at least 2, 3, even 4 decades after retirement. And this means that for a lot of us, our retirement years will actually be longer than our childhood years and adolescent years. So obviously, we've got to reinvent and redefine ourselves. So anyway, enough of the talking about retirement. That will be another post. Let me focus on what I want to do with this YouTube channel. There are two main things I hope to achieve. Firstly, I would like to document my adventures as somebody from the African diaspora who was born in the UK, lived in the UK, lived in Nigeria, traveled around Africa, and now that I'm retired, I can do more of that. So I'll be documenting my travel adventures, primarily based in Lagos, Nigeria. That's where I sort of reside when I'm as a retired person from the UK. I reside in Lagos, Nigeria, Badagry to be precise. And I'll be looking at my adventures around Lagos, around Badagry, around the wider Yoruba land, that's southwest Nigeria and south. And I'll also be taking tours, personal tours to Benin Republic, which is close by. I love Benin Republic, close by Cotonou, Port Novo, and even beyond to Togo, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. And also once a year, I'll probably looking at traveling to another African country, when North Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa. This year, I particularly would like to get to Morocco in October, and probably next year, Tanzania. So that will be one focus of my adventures. The other focus of my adventures is the fact that although I'm retired to Lagos, I actually live between Africa and Europe. So for part of the time, I live in the UK, between London and Manchester. And while I'm in the UK, I'll be exploring my Afropean adventures. These are going to European countries that have a relationship with Africa as a result of colonialism, the Atlantic slave exploitation, and I'll be exploring all those themes and looking at how these countries actually not only developed themselves as a result of the slave trade, slave exploration, and colonization, but also how African communities have made these countries vibrant. And I'll be looking at the theme of decolonizing debtors in Europe. So there are lots of European countries that have very vibrant and creative African communities, and I'll be exploring these on day trips. For instance, if you are in Lisbon, go to African Lisbon tours run by Naki, a great guy. I've been there. I've been on that tour once, and I can't wait to get back next year. And I'll be listing a whole host of them in different countries, from Seville to Madrid to Berlin to Amsterdam, Paris, and of course the UK. So that's the main theme of the travel bit of this YouTube channel. The second bit will be more talking, and that will be where I will look at the whole idea of people in the West of African heritage, or some people say the African diaspora in the West, looking at how they may consider, if they are considering, how they may consider retiring back home. When I say home, I mean back to an African country. In my talks, I'm actually doing, I've been a social worker and having studied life coaching in the UK. I'm actually exploring how to become a retirement coach, and I'll be focusing mainly on the social and emotional aspects of retirement. And I'll be delving into it from the perspective of what are the social and emotional issues, mainly for people that want to retire back home to Africa, exploring them, talking about them, hoping that over the months I set up a support group. And just let us talk about these issues, because the reality is, for many of us who have the advantage of having ties in Africa, and who are about to retire or who have retired, we can have a much better quality of life on our Western pensions if we live even part of the time, 6 months of the time, in an African country. I have retired, as I said. My main income is my retirement, my UK pension, and I can do much more things with it if I'm based in Africa for 6 months. I can actually save a greater part of my pension to travel. And also, when I'm in the UK, Europe, I can then have a bit of extra money where I can, enjoy my stay relatively okay, exploring my Afropean tours in Europe. And also, what this channel, I hope to do with this channel, is offer for those particularly that are thinking of relocating to Nigeria. And when I say Nigeria, Nigeria is a very big country, just as Africa is not one country, but a continent of over 50 countries. Nigeria is a country of over 36 states and FCT, very large population, 200 million. So obviously, when I say I'm retiring to Nigeria, really, specifically, is retiring to Lagos. And for those of you that do want to retire to Lagos, particularly South, I can organize facilitation programs for you. I have done a few trips to hosting a few tours for individuals, and I hope to expand this to help bridge the gap between those in the diaspora who want to come and actually relocate there in Lagos. So anyway, enough of the talking. This is my first post, and as the months go on, they will get better, because obviously I will learn more about YouTubing and how to edit posts, etc., and how to ensure that my content is very exciting. So stay in contact with me. Let's go on a journey, and I hope all of you have a great week.